Have you ever wanted to belong to something so badly that you convinced yourself you'd be the exception, that no matter what happened to everyone else, you'd be the one they'd never turn on? Firecracker spent her whole life chasing that feeling, and when she finally found it, when she finally had a seat at the table, she did what desperate people do. She gave everything she had to keep it. Her health.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Her faith.
I mean, I love all this. Love. But don't you believe in Jesus or whatever?
I did. Now I believe in Homelander.
The one person who had ever genuinely cared about her, all of it, handed over without any hesitation because the alternative was going back to having nothing. So she believed Homelander would protect her, that her loyalty meant something to him, that she was different from everyone else he had used up and discarded. And yet, he still killed her. And when I watched that scene, I actually felt pity, but not because deep down inside Firecracker was a good person. No, she wasn't, but because she really, truly believed it right up until the moment she died. And her final words were probably the most honest thing she ever said, and it took dying for her to say them. She says to Homelander, "I gave you my soul. I am the only one here who ever truly loved you, and nothing I ever did was good enough." She faked it till she made it, and make it she did, just not in the way she thought. Hey everyone, I'm Nikanak, and I make videos about everything I question and overthink, and today we're talking about Misty Tucker Gray, aka Firecracker, a predator, a racist, a propagandist, and a woman who never thought that the leopard would eat her face. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now let's start at the beginning, before the conspiracy theories, before VNN, before she's breastfeeding the most dangerous man on the planet. Firecracker, or her government name Misty Tucker Gray, was born in Daytona Beach to a poor family who accepted the quick payday from Vought and shot up their child with Compound V.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
She grew up competing in Capes for Christ soup pageants despite having basically nothing. And the reason I bring this up, well, because pageants are really expensive. So clearly this meant a lot to her, and probably from a young age she understood the value of money. And for 3 years she went up against none other than Annie January, and she lost every single time except for 1 year when they were both neck and neck. Now before the final competition, Annie, who was coached by her mom and believed she was chosen by God, told everyone that Firecracker, who was only 13 at the time, had slept with the judges to get to the finals, and that was the only way someone like her could make it. Now when Firecracker confronted her, demanding an answer, Annie didn't even grant her the courtesy of a real reply. She just said
That I don't talk to fat sluts.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Firecracker is a good person, because she's not. But I think we have to understand what that moment does to a kid who was already starting from nothing. A rumor like that, especially at that age, and in that community, or honestly, even if it was in a school setting, that will follow you. It shapes how you understand the world, and I believe that Firecracker understood something in this moment, that no matter how hard she worked, people will find a way to take it away from you. And the more you deny it, the more people will believe in it. And she says exactly that to Annie. Now, after the pageant circuit, her parents supposedly died, leaving her an orphan. I do need to say that the show is pretty vague about what actually happened to them. There's no real confirmation about the details, or even if she's telling the truth. But what we do know is that she ended up being taken in by Reverend Greg Dupree at Daytona Holy Baptist Church, who had fed her when she had nothing, and gave her structure and something to believe in. And I feel like this is where a lot of Firecracker's character actually forms. This idea that belonging to something bigger than herself is what kept her safe. That if she was faithful enough, if she served well enough, she'll probably be protected, and the church gave her what her family couldn't, and what the pageant world took away. A place. And by season 4, that need to belong to something has become a product. Firecracker's running this InfoWars style show, The Truth Bomb, selling conspiracy theories to people who just want to feel like they're in on something.
We got ourselves a national crisis. Homelander himself said Starlight traffics kids.
And her starlighters just murdered 3 of our brothers yesterday to cover it up. They're killing us. Wake up!
And when recruited by Sister Sage, I think any of us, if we were to ever meet these types of people, would ask the same thing. Do you actually believe in any of this? And Firecracker says she's selling the truth, but Sage, being the smartest person on Earth, doesn't buy it, so she adjusts. She says she's selling purpose to people who feel like the world has left them behind. Give them a cause, a villain, a reason, and suddenly they're not nobodies anymore. So Firecracker presents herself as this cynical opportunist, someone who knows exactly what she's selling and doesn't believe a word of it. But I don't think that's actually true, because Firecracker is not separate from those people. She is the people. She has always been the people. Like, her target in season 4 is Starlight. That is some one-sided beef that she has been dragging this whole time. And I think by season 5, Firecracker can't really tell the difference anymore, because she's been doing this long enough that the performance and the belief have kind of merged. The racism isn't a bit.
You know, when I first met you, I thought you were kind of uppity, but you're one of the good ones.
The resentment isn't a tactic.
To cover up her slaughter of innocent young heroes at GodU, then she went and AI'd this so-called Flight 37 video.
And the need to be taken seriously, ooh, boy, that is very, very, very real.
When you found me, my podcast had, I don't know, a couple hundred fans, and, you know, folks laughed. Now I'm the fucking anchor at VNN with millions of followers, and they ain't laughing no more.
Yet, Sister Sage recruits her, and then she meets Homelander. And what happens next is one of the stranger parasocial dynamics in the whole show, which is saying a lot given that the whole show is about parasocial dynamics. Firecracker's fixation on Homelander goes beyond admiration. She wants to be seen by him. She wants the most powerful person in the room to look at her specifically and acknowledge her importance. She tells him that she will be his most loyal servant, which is all driven by her overwhelming fear of being abandoned and her desperate desire to be indispensable to him. Anything he needs, and she means anything.
Anything.
She will give, hoping it will secure her a place in his life. And that's why she starts taking medications that slowly destroy her heart solely so she can breastfeed him. But Homelander doesn't actually see her. He sees what she provides. The moment the medications start making her sick, his interest drops off immediately, and so does the speck of warmth that he gave her. And watching this happen, Firecracker returns to the one place where her worth was never conditional, to God, and later Soldier Boy. But not because there was some deep love, deep connection, or some kind of desire, but because it was close to Homelander's reflected light, and that, as we learn later in season 5, is better than no light at all. However, just like with everything in The Boys, that backfires spectacularly. In season 5, Homelander tells Firecracker he wants her to declare him God, and to build a church around him, and to basically replace Jesus. And Firecracker, who had found solace in Jesus at one point, well, that's a no-go for her, and Homelander is asking her to take the one thing that was genuinely hers, the one belief that predates all the branding and the conspiracy theories and the persona, and hand it over to him, and because she would do anything to belong and be seen by him, she goes through with it. But because, once again, God and faith are profoundly significant to her, Firecracker explains to Soldier Boy that she has been experiencing inner turmoil and a theological crisis, struggling to reconcile her adoration for Homelander with her devotion to Jesus. And Soldier Boy, just being Soldier Boy, who I think had no malicious intent, but just carelessly disregarded the consequences because he really doesn't care, reveals this to Homelander, and he fires her. And Firecracker, for the few seconds she has to process this information, thinks it's because she slept with Soldier Boy. But in reality, it's because she failed to offer Homelander complete, absolute devotion. She had doubts, she placed something above him in her heart. And that's that. And in her final moments leading up to her death, she discards her Jesus figurine, which I think signals total commitment to Homelander, and pleads with him,
I love you. I'm the only one here who ever has. I
And then he kills her, smashing her head into an eagle statue, as she gets one last look at her god, Homelander.
To laugh, to cry, to see our biggest heroes on the biggest screens.
Now, what I keep revisiting is that in episode 1 of season 4, Sister Sage tells Homelander that no matter what he achieves, nothing will make him happy. There is no version of loyalty that satisfies him, because what Homelander needs is not actual loyalty, rather just blind submission, and even that stops being enough eventually. But Firecracker believed that if she could just find the right way to give herself to him, he would keep her. And I do think she is in a sense unique, even more than the Deep, mainly because there is at least a couple of more brain cells there, but also because her character represents the absolute extreme of genuine, unconditional devotion to Homelander. Unlike the Deep, who is just afraid of him, he probably hates Homelander, but because he wants this spot in the Seven, he will do anything.
I'm the Lord of the Seven Seas, baby. I'm all about that Sigma life. I ain't terrified of shit.
You're so scared of Homelander, you don't even see what it's done to you.
I'm not fucking scared.
Grow up, super original. I mean, if whining and bitching were a superpower, maybe she'd still be relevant.
And as for Firecracker, I do think it was actual love, as broken and distorted as it was. And at the very end, she tells him that she was with Soldier Boy because of his reflected light. And that, as I mentioned earlier, that's better than no light at all. And I feel like that sentence is kind of her whole story. Every choice she made was in service of that one need. And what's sad is that the Reverend actually offered her real warmth, real belonging, but she decided to burn that bridge on live television to keep a man who was never going to love or need her.
Americans deserve better. They deserve Homelander. They deserve the Democratic Church of America.
And that is the predictable fate of Firecracker.
Why? What happened?
We just don't have any more room in the boat for, non-believers.
But what about you? Do you think there was ever a version of this where Firecracker walks out of that room alive? Or was it always going to end here? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're still here, well, thank you so much for watching. And now remember, the important thing is to never, ever, ever stop questioning. Even me. Till next time, bye.